Greetings all, greetings. Above the noise of all these motorcycles and people, this beauty. Beautiful mountain. I enjoy walking in the morning looking at that mountain. A trike carrying a 4x8 pane of glass. Look at this guy right here. He's got like a spear fishing and one catfish. Everybody comes to this little canal here, right here, and fish for catfish right here. It comes right out of the rice fields, and all inside there are filled with catfish. But there's the mountain on that side. Comes all the way around. Mountain on this side goes all the way around. This is the west. That's the south. Guy outside selling ice cream early. This is the north. They're going towards the ocean on this side. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. And not letting that anxiety that is stifling 90% of the population of the United States and about 40% of the population of the whole planet over who is selected, because they already know who wins. The negotiation has already been taking place, and they already know who won. And if you look at what's going on carefully, you'll see that there's a group of people in the US that don't want Trump to win. When Biden and Harris came into office, they picked up from where Hillary Clinton left off with Obama in office. All the revolutions that you see going on when Obama was in office, that's why Hillary Clinton was selected as the Secretary of State. It was her job. She was leading all the people who were conducting these changing regimes around the world. There were some people who didn't like the reputation of the US, what was happening, and how much money was being spent on doing it. And finally, the last straw that got them to act was Libya. Well, there's actually two. Libya, when the US ambassador died, and Syria, because there was no need for Syria, and they were telling them that there's no need for Syria, but that one pipeline they think they had to get it done really quick, so they went after the president of Syria. And the Russians now, having a naval base in Syria, they're only one in the Mediterranean. Hey, no, this gotta stop. So the Russians told Obama, we are not going to allow you to overthrow the Syrian president. Obama got upset, but there's nothing he can do, because he was already in so many wars that there's little that he could have done there. Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria had pushed his military to the limit. So he had to kind of back down from the Russians. And the Russians were learning something, and they were talking to the Chinese. Because the president of Russia had seen all this thing happening, and he was talking to the Chinese. And there the Chinese had started BRICS. But BRICS was an economic thing. It wasn't a military organization then. It's moving towards that now because they see the need. And they saw the need coming and started planning for it. First they stabilized the economics, which they're continuing to do now, but they also starting to build a military. China is building independent military fast. I mean, I never seen anybody build the U.S. during World War II, but never seen anybody build like this technology now as fast as China has done. And they are building faster than the U.S. and all its allies combined. Not only they're building faster than all but the U.S. is deteriorating militarily at a faster rate than even England in the 1900s. Between the three wars that England, well, more than three, but between the wars that England fought around the world, World War I and II as they call it, and then in Africa and everywhere else that British ships were going. Today, England can't field a dozen ships. They got 1.5 aircraft carriers, and the one that's supposed to be working is not. We got a couple of battleships, and half of them don't work. The military is I mean, U.S. got more policemen than the British got military. I mean, New York City got more policemen than the British got a military. So let's put that in context. Anyway, Donald Trump came into office because of the many things that were being done under Obama. U.S. was stretched. They were spending so much money that people who were looking at this thing and saying, hey, you can't do that. So Obama tried to shut down the three wars that they were fighting and pivot to China. But they wouldn't let him because they were making so much money in Afghanistan and Iraq that what's the sense of giving up something we got, to go fight something that we don't? We aren't interested in Taiwan. But Biden now, what Trump did was put tariffs on everybody. You're going to carry your own weight. And the people that they call the neocons didn't like that. So for 4 years they planned, and then they forced Biden to run for president. Whether the election was fixed or not, that is, I'm not going to get into that debate. Because a lot of people have disappeared because of that. But anyway, this one today, and Biden said it himself, the job is not done. They still got China and Russia. And right now, they are trying to make preparation for war. When a man is cornered, when an animal feels like it's cornered, it's going to attack somebody. And you can see that the U.S. have retreated from Ukraine and left the Europeans to fight the war. They're just in the back trying to push the Europeans up. The U.S. has moved to Africa. If you look at it carefully, you will see. It's not just the military that's in Africa. diplomats all over. Even Kamala Harris went there, flew from country to country to tell, hey, we don't do what we say we're going to do. The other day they took Uganda, 3 other countries off the list of trading countries that were allowed to trade with America. But the problem is now that China is already in Africa. And now China is pushing back. You see the trade deals that China made the other day with African nations, African presidents that went to Beijing. China is pushing back. And Russia, I told you before, when I started talking about this thing, I said I didn't want to get into it, but 3 years from now, they're going to end this war in Ukraine and they're going to pivot to Africa. They didn't end the war in Ukraine yet, but they're pivoting to Africa already. There's something going on in South Africa that people don't see. You're not listening to, you're not seeing it. You got Caucasian people. Well, the same people who are the Zionists, the same people who are the Nazis, they're the same people. Just the name to fool people. And they are beginning to carve out a piece of South Africa. They're beginning to carve out a piece of South Africa. And the funny thing is, Malema is not saying anything. And you can see it all over. I mean, they're very brazen about it. They put out the word, come to Western Cape. Come wherever you are to Western Cape. We can build our own country and our military there. You don't have to worry about Israel. Some of them came out and said, you don't have to worry about Israel. We know Israel is lost. Come to Western Cape. Anyway, I said, don't put it here about election. There's two paths. That one is going to be a war. And because, like you said, like I was saying, when an animal feels cornered, if you put a tiger in a cage, and then 10 people walk into that cage, the tiger is going to run. But when he gets into a corner, he's going to look for an out, and he's going to attack. If there's a one man on his left, he's going to attack in that area. And what happens is that the US now, Germany and France and every one of them is down for the count. The only one left is the US. And if they feel cornered, there's going to be war. And the way how you got to look at this when you say cornered, the US thought of itself as the power that made the decision for the whole world. And when it sees that, like the situation now, China brought Saudi and Iran together. China came up with a peace plan for Israel. China is making people who used to fight one another sit down and talk. They're not forcing them to the table, but they come to convince and say, look, your war is killing people on both sides. Why not join us? Sit down and talk to each other. The world is not going to end tomorrow. You can sit down and talk with each other. Don't matter how long it takes. You can find a way around the obstacles that you have. Whereas America say, okay, we're gonna send you weapons, and we're going to make sure that this guy over here don't get any weapons. You can go in and destroy his country. But when his country is destroyed, his people are going to remember. You see the Palestinians? They haven't forgotten. And anybody who think that the black people around the world have forgotten slavery better think again. Anyway, that's the situation you're in. So whoever is the president of the United States after November, they have a very difficult job and a choice to make. You wake up one day with white trails going across the sky, you know that the world as you know it is gone. And today, I mean, you may not see the white trails because most of the weapons that China and America has, nuclear weapons, they're not going to leave that trail. You got the sonic weapons, and there are other weapons that you don't even hear about. But some weapons, all you hear or feel a sound in your ear or pressure on your head. But anyway, let's not go into that. The situation as it is that from what Trump said, he's going to come in, he's going to put tariffs on everybody. Because he's got to slow down the Chinese economy while trying to build the US economy. Whereas Biden, they're saying Harris now, but Biden is going to be directing from where he is. He might not be president, but he's going to direct it. Or his side is going to be directed. Whatever Harris did. And they are for war against China. They were trying to get rid of Iran, North Korea, before they get to China. And that didn't work. So they got to go full on with China and leave the rest of the world to fight with Russia. And Israel is not capable of fighting with Iran anymore unless it uses weapon of last resort. And if it does, the whole land is going to be flat in Israel. So what's Netanyahu is going to do? Trying to get America now to use nuclear weapons in the Middle East. That's exactly what he's trying to do. Because he knows that if he does it, Jewish people everywhere in the world has no place to go. But anyway, that's the situation that you're facing. No matter who becomes president. If Trump becomes president, his plans seem to be different to Biden's plan. One has a plan for just all-out war, and one has a plan of economic war, which is tariffs and so forth. So both are wars anyway, but in a way they're a little bit different. But that's what happened. If you go back and read the history of what happened to Greece and Rome, Persia, you see that they went through the same thing. England went through the same process. And today, look at England. America is trying to avoid that. When you move up from the top spot, look how long it takes England to fall to where it is now. Some people it may seem like a long time, but 50 years, 70 years is not a long time. That's a lifetime of one man. And for a man, living his lifetime but for a country, it's not a long time. So America is trying to avoid that. That's what you see at stake in today's election. All right? I hope you guys are watching this carefully. Just look at what I told you, compare it to the situation you see. All right, have a great day wherever you are. Peace.